My name is Shärifullà. I'm a musician, researcher, artist based in Basel, Switzerland, originally from Eastern Siberia, and I study Northern and Central Asia oral, musical, listening culture a lot, which is related also to my heritage, to my Bashkir heritage. The whole project is what we call an artistic research lab, and the main topic is what are the socio-political implications of what is called tradition, what is the tradition, how we can deal with it, how tradition is related to what we call the power triad, so how is it related to economic power, how is it related to violence or like force of coercion, how is it related to ideology or like nation building, for example, so in which cases tradition was used or is used in nation building. And the main thing is like how to liberate ourselves from it and how to, let's say, dismantle all the industries in a way that are related now to actually appropriation of what is called traditional exoticization and capitalization and stuff like that. In its technicality, the idea is that we come together, we invite some of the experts from the field, whether like from theory, like people working with theory, or like practitioners who just work with it, and then spend some time together from 7 to 10 days now, and work with this whole mess.
I'm Yara Mekawei. I'm a sonic sculptor and electronic music composer, Cairo-born, Berlin-based. I think Resynthesising Lab, it's totally compatible with what I'm doing, since we are talking about the identity and the culture and the heritage and the traditions for each one of the participants and how they can use it during the contemporary electronic mediums to document this in the present and also to archive this in the future. It's quite tricky to transfer the history to digital new aspects and to keep it in an original way in a contemporary format.
My name is Miłosz. I'm from Poznań, Poland. What interested me in the lab is the resynthesizing, the idea of taking away from some tradition that I experienced. In my case, it's particularly the organ, and retelling the story, or going back ages back to when the organ was first built, the first prototype of organ, how it functioned, who played it, who had access to it. Was it an instrument that was available to everyone?
My name is Varoujan Chetirian, and I'm a Swiss-Armenian sound artist and curator based in Berlin since 6 years. Like a lot of people, I share multiple heritage and I feel I have multiple homes. Like emotionally, I belong to multiple places. This question of how to deal with these complex identities in the frame of music and electronic music or sound art or whatever sonic practices, I think that was very interesting for me to see that the lab was actually digging in that direction and to see what other people had to say also. And I feel like now this question of the traditions is somehow also very political in a tricky way. Like there's this whole other movement, the right-wing movements, the identity movements that claim to own certain things for themselves. And I think from my perspective, it's super important to reinvest this topic from a different perspective and from a more critical perspective, because traditions have always been moving, and I think they belong to, they should be much broader and much more diverse.
I think why, many years back, why I was so much drawn to the sounds that I found from Estonian archives, because there were so many more kind of colors and shades compared to what I heard around myself at that time. I think working with that kind of music, I understood that there are so many more ways that you can constantly play around with timbres, textures, scales and rhythms. So when you are far away, you just hear the same melody constantly repeating, but then if you open your ears and you get used to it, then you see that there are like so many little details just in the phrasing and in accentuating and like all these things. So I think that's what really kind of captivated me.
Playing the bass flute since a few years, and I'm improvising, and after some point I felt like, what else can I do with this instrument? It's like I'm just repeating myself. So then I started using the voice slowly and carefully and with a lot of insecurity, and I realized at some point that I really love the traditional Greek songs, and how can there be a way to incorporate something that is very close to my heart and that I feel like it really speaks to me?
My first experience being trained formally in music was as a fiddler, having that initial experience improvising on an instrument and then going to a more classical realm. I think improvising again feels like comfortable for some reason, like because of that. But I'm also inspired by other electronic music as well. In the city that I'm from, Chicago, there's a big electronic music scene. Dance music has historically been very important in Chicago, so I think like I find myself often playing not in a classical context but in an electronic music context the most. And yeah, there's also a big industrial scene in Chicago as well. Taking from like the more textural, like a sound effect-y part of industrial music is like a big element of my work as well.
And I feel this connection with every participant on the level of resynthesizing. I feel, but also everyone has this different point of view and different traditions that they resynthesize, but yet I am still able to find those connections and those little things or bigger things that make us this close to each other in terms of resynthesizing and working with tradition.
Yeah, imagine a tradition that only one person share. That wouldn't be a tradition, right?